All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Feel a little better? Okay. Thank you for coming. We'll pull the slides up real quick. My name is, for anybody who hasn't met me yet, my name is Jen Higginbotham. I am the president of the Holy Cross Neighborhood Association. Thank you for coming to our meeting. We have these quarterly. We want to start off by thanking the Cap Indy Center. They've always been really nice about letting us use this space. It's a great space, and we very much appreciate having this space to have these meetings. Quick reminder, we are recording the meeting. It'll be uploaded to YouTube after sometime later tonight. I'll be uploading it to YouTube. So we're gonna keep conversations brief. If we do end up with a full lineup, we've got a little room today, so we might have a few Q&As. But if you want to really dig into things and you've got some things that you really want to focus on in the neighborhood, we do have an association board, and they meet the month before these meetings so that we can talk about more specifically some of the things, the initiatives that we're working on or the issues that we want to deal with. We try to keep these meetings more informational, but if you want to have those discussions, please join the association board. Anyone's welcome to join. We do have a few guest speakers tonight. I'm going to give a couple of updates for IMPD and our city councilor, Jesse. They could not be here, but then we are going to have a presentation from IU Methodist and Riley on a study that they're working on. And then we'll have our regular foundation or our regular neighborhood reports, president update, festival, foundation, etc. So first off, I want to give you a quick update that Stacy sent me. She couldn't be here tonight, but she wanted to let you know that the East District Task Force has released their dates for 2026. Can everybody still hear me? Make it a little closer. They've released their dates for 2026. So the dates are over there on the left. If you're interested in going to any of those meetings, they're really informational or informal. They're open to anyone. It's really just to, kind of get to know your officers, talk about any initiatives that IMPD is working on, that kind of thing. I have the address on there if you're looking for it. It's at 201 North Shadeland. That's where the district office is. And then they also wanted to let you know about the blood drive that they're having right now for Brianne Leith. That's going to be Friday, April 17th, 12 to 6 p.m. at that same address. And you can go on redcrossblood.org to make an appointment if you'd like to participate in the blood drive. Next announcement, Jesse Brown couldn't be here, but he asked me to share with you that right now his top priorities are data center opposition. He's been working on that at the council level. Public safety concerns, flock cameras in particular. He didn't give me any specifics to follow up on that, so that's really what I got. What is it?
So,
yeah.
I will be brief. So knowing Jesse Brown and the fact that he helped me out with the gunshot detection the gunshot detection microphones that we had all over the city, and we got rid of them because they were spying on us. They were literally putting them on apartment walls and listening in on people's conversations. So the flock cameras, they're selling that information out to places like ICE. They're selling it to data brokers. They're selling it to the city, but they're making it sound like a public safety issue where Flock is making billions of dollars to sell your information, to say where you've gone, where did you go shopping today, where did you go down the street. So we want big government, we want big business out of our cars. We don't want them on the streets tracking us, and we don't want to be paying for it as citizens. So knowing Jesse Brown, that's what he's got to say.
Thank you, Cliff. I realized I didn't share the screen for the recording that I'll be putting on YouTube later, so I'm going to go back real quick, and anybody who's looking at this online can just pause and look at the slide. Okay, so those are our updates. I think he had one more thing. Continuing to lend support to neighborhood associations. So he said, reach out to him if you have any thoughts and comments on any of this going on or anything else that you want to bring to his attention. So now we're going to move on. We do have a presentation. We've got a couple of people here from IU Methodist and Riley. Let me pull up the slides real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to them. we go.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am Daniel Udrea. I'm an emergency medicine physician as well as a critical care physician at IU Methodist and occasionally at Riley. If you're seeing me, it's potentially a bad day in your life. So maybe you don't see me and this is the only time. That'd be great, I'm sure. But we're always happy to take care of you 24/7, 365, and on a leap year, 366 days a year. I am the IU Methodist Hospital PI or PI for a research study that we are doing called KESIT. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what that is and go from there. So one of the things that we treat in the emergency room are seizures. Is anyone familiar with seizures? Yeah. If you're not familiar with seizures, it's essentially a neurologic or brain emergency where there's too much electrical activity in your head that's causing your body to go haywire, and it is life-threatening for it to be going on for an extended period of time. Similar to what's happening outside with the lightning and the thunder that's going on, that is what's going on in your brain and making it hard for your brain to do literally anything to the point where you are unconscious and potentially not breathing. So thank you, thunder and lightning, for helping me explain this right now. So seizures affect children and adults. They cause this loss of consciousness and they cause these life-threatening convulsions. And they're scary, especially if they're the first time or even not the first time, because you can sometimes even feel them coming on and you're driving and that would be life-threatening, could be potentially dangerous to you or others. So it is an incredibly terrible thing that we always look for ways to improve, to prevent, and to treat if they do happen. And like I said, prolonged seizures that don't stop are life-threatening. We have a lot of medicines that we can help to try to stop and prevent seizures, but they're not good enough. Like, we're always looking for something better because for every 10 people that have prolonged seizures, about 6 of them will stop after they get like the first treatment that the ambulance folks give you. But maybe four of them, don't. And so they come to the emergency room, they're still seizing, and that's where we take over and we have to start giving the second, the third line, the fourth line. We go down an algorithm of medications until the seizures stop. So when the ambulance gives you the medicine, we want to give you the next best medicine. And so that's where we're coming in, is because we're trying to make the second line option even better. So in this trial, what we do is we're going to give you one of the 3 if you meet criteria, okay? And I'm going to go through that, I promise. So on the left, you have levetiracetam alone. Okay, on the middle, levetiracetam plus a medium amount of this medicine called ketamine. And then on the right, levetiracetam plus a larger dose. Okay, either way, if you're having a seizure in the emergency room, current gold standard is we give you a second line medicine, which is usually just levetiracetam. It's also known as Keppra by its brand name. So if you've heard that medicine, that's what you've heard. To make sure that we're doing this right, we want to make sure that this study doesn't just look at seizures in Indianapolis. We want to look across the country. So you have a ton of, oh, I got louder. So we have a ton of academic centers across the United States that are working with this. They have a lot of experience like IU that in doing these kinds of studies, which if you're wondering why did we pick these centers, we didn't pick. These are people who wanted to be a part of this study and got in on this, okay? And so the wonderful thing is it's pretty spread out. We'd love to have more, but that's where we're at right now. Who will be included in this study? People who have prolonged seizures despite adequate doses of benzodiazepines. Now, benzodiazepines are the medicine that the ambulance folks give you if you're having a seizure in the ambulance on your way to the hospital. People who get benzodiazepines and are still having the seizure when they get to the emergency room will be included in the study. Okay? It will include adults and children all the way down to 1 year of age. So starts at age 1 and goes all the way up. We will include people who do or do not have a history of seizures, because if you're having a seizure, we would like to treat it. I will talk about who won't be in the study in a moment. So when patients are coming into the emergency room and they're having that rhythmic shaking, We can give more of those benzodiazepines if needed. However, if you are eligible to receive a second line medicine and you do not meet any of what we call our exclusion criteria, then we will include you in this study. We will give you this medicine. We will give 10 minutes for the medicine to work. If the seizures do not work, or sorry, if the seizures don't stop, then we will continue down our pathway of giving the usual care of medicines. Either way, you're going to get the medicine that we already give, levetiracetam, but you might receive levetiracetam plus ketamine. So we want to see if the add-on of ketamine is better in combination as opposed to just levetiracetam. So we want to see if the center and the right bubble from earlier, we want to see if the center or the right bubble is better than just the left bubble. Fair enough? Okay. So how do we know that it's working? Well, we have this little EEG headband that we place on. It's like no radiation or anything. It just reads the electrical activity going on in your head, and it tells us, is this a normal electrical activity, or is there lightning going on in your brain right now? And so that helps us know if, based on the medicine that is given, whether or not there's an improvement. Possible risks and possible benefits for any study, for anything that we do really. Anything that we can do that we research could be better, worse, or the same. And that's why we're doing this study. We hope that it's better. It could be the same, but if it's worse, we want to know, so we stop. So there's a lot of safeguards in what we do to make sure that if it's worse, we stop very quickly. You may or may not benefit from being in the study, right? You may be included in the study, you may not. It just depends on what we call randomization. That way, no one knows except the people who are doing the analysis of the study later who got the medicine. The benefits are if you have prolonged seizures, they're risky. So if you get the medicine and it makes you better, great. If you don't get the medicine, either way, you're still getting what we normally give, but you may get something extra, ketamine. Okay. Side effects. Both the medicines, both Keppra and ketamine, have pretty similar side effects. Drowsiness, dizziness. Ketamine has more vivid dreams. Ketamine can have more confusion or agitation. Levetiracetam can lower your blood pressure or increase it. Ketamine can increase your blood pressure. So there's a lot of overlap. But the good news is you'd be in the emergency room, and we deal with this all of the time. We see the side effects, we treat the side effects, and that's why you're in the emergency room. Okay. And there are always the risk of unknown risk, which is why we monitor, which is why we study. And that's why we're doing it. So this is a little bit different, right? Normally, when you have a research study, you want to get consent from people and you want to talk to them about the risks and benefits. However, when you're having a seizure and your brain's having an electrical storm, you're not really awake to have a good informed consent conversation. So the way that we do this is we do what we're doing now. We go around to the community. This is happening at Methodist and Riley. We chat with people. We try to tell as many people as we possibly can because we want you to be aware that this is happening and that we want to talk to you about this, answer all the questions, and give you the opportunity to opt out. And I'll talk about that in a moment. And this special regulation is called Exception from Informed Consent, EFIC, and that's what we're doing here today. We only do this EFIC process in life-threatening situations, seizures being one of them. Only when current treatments are unproven or not good enough, we don't find them to be good enough, but we do know that the ketamine can be very helpful for seizures, which is why we're studying this. Only when there is potential of direct benefit, which is why we're studying this, because we think that there's very good potential for direct benefit, and only when consent is not possible. Again, you're not awake when you're having a seizure, so it's very hard to get consent. However, notification and consent will continue as soon as possible, meaning you would get the medicine. Ideally, you get better. You wake up, you're awake and alert, you're having a conversation. We tell you what happened. And if you would like to continue participating, then we would continue gathering information and monitoring all of your symptoms, right? Like, because we gave you the medicine. However, if you say, get away from me, I don't want to be involved in this anymore, no problem. You can tell us that, we'll stop. But you will have already received the study medicine. The doctor is taking care of you. nothing changes. You're still going to get great care. Okay. But you will have received the study medicine. But by saying no, that doesn't mean anything changes. It just means that us researchers will go away. And we will not include you in our data collection from then on. Does that make sense? Yes.
So if a family member is there, will you reach out before you put them into this trial if there is a family member there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I would hope a family member's ready to be there, but we got to do it in like the first few minutes of them arriving, because it's so life-threatening.
That means not that problematic, so I'm not worried, but I'm still worried about the others.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. Ketamine is a great medicine to use. From an ethical perspective, we would always want to get consent. It's incredibly tough, which is why we do this. But if someone's there that can, legally consent, perfect. Love that. So we're here to listen to you guys. We are working with the local seizure community, and we're trying to be as transparent as possible. So I'm here to answer questions to the best of my ability. Do you have any questions? Yes. So provided we do all of our community engagement this month, we hope to start mid-April, end of April. I think that's pretty fair. Yeah. Yes.
So my nephew has seizures sometimes. He lives in Tennessee though, but so probably won't affect him. But do they do this on the children too?
Yes. I'm going to get to that. I want to get back to your question just a moment. No. I just thought of something. It's okay. So other sites have started to enroll. I think there is another study, I think Pittsburgh or someone just got approved to start today. So I think there's 2 or 3 sites that have started of the like 50. So we're all doing this across the country right now. And then as for the pediatric question, the child question, yes. So there's a counterpart to me that works at Riley primarily. His name's Dr. Enti. He's very regretful he can't make it today. But if you are 17, between age 1 and 17, I'm going to do my best here because I'm on the adult side, but if you are between the ages of 1 and 17, you would be preferentially taken to Riley anyways, right? By EMS, because you're a kid. That's where we would do the study there. Okay. And the medicine that we would give is the same. We just give different doses based on your weight. Okay. And that's how we do medication in kids. We do everything weight-based. Remember, you had a kid, if you go to the hospital, we probably talk to you about weight-based dosing of Tylenol, like take this number, like 3 mLs or 1 ml, follow the instructions on the box, all things you've probably heard us talk about. As an example, we do everything weight-based in pediatrics. So if you're between age of 1 and 17, there's a whole process, and Huma is here. She's the research coordinator for Riley. And this is Janice. She's the research coordinator on the adult side with me at Methodist. But great question. Yes.
Just for emergency, somebody goes in active seizure, like in the event of something, or
Yes.
see anybody who might walk in after.
Only active seizures. Yeah. If they're having an active seizure, they're not walking in. They're being rolled in. Great question. I think he was first. Sorry.
Does IU as well have prior record, like last year, how many life-threatening seizures came into the hospitals? Because what would the sample size that we're aiming for with Indianapolis?
I can answer half of your question.
Okay. Yeah,
It's a great question, though. It's a great question. So the entire study network, all like 60 sites or so, we do this calculation called power. We calculate the power of a study to determine how many people we need to enroll to determine this is the number of people we need to enroll to detect if there is an improvement or not, or if it's worse or not. And so that number, I think, was 770. So we expect that between all 60 sites or so, it's going to take about 5 years to enroll enough people. Okay. So Can we get all the numbers of life-threatening seizures? Yes. I don't know if I have that number available.
Patient for per site per year is about 3 to 4 enrollments. So we're not expecting many throughout the year, but.
And just based on history.
A lot of seizures resolve after the first dose of that medicine that EMS gives. It's for the people that have refracted, like the seizures not going away.
Yeah, I remember the diagram, it was the last 20%. If it was 10 people out there.
40.
40.
Yeah. But even still, it's not that many people. But we want to make sure that the 40% is well taken care of. Yep. Yeah, no worries.
So, okay, 2 questions. You talked about EMS.
Okay.
Does EMS start this trial or you wait until you get into the facility?
EMS does standard care.
Okay, standard care.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Secondly, opting out, does opting out of one site opt you out of all 60 sites?
It should. It should. So the 2 remaining things that I need to talk about, other than your question, because I remember you had your hand up, is we need to talk about exclusions and we need to talk about how you can exclude yourself. Okay, so excluding yourself from the study will get you the information you need, but you can get a sort of a wristband on, that would simply say, no Kesset, like, do not involve yourself in this study. Okay, now I'll just tell you, like, of those 60 sites, are other places giving levetiracetam plus a little bit of ketamine because they have found it in that hospital to work, and they might do that. So there are places that might just do this, but we are trying to study it in a programmatic way. So if you wear a wristband that says no Kesset and you go to a hospital that isn't doing the study, they might still give you that combination of medicine because we have found it to be helpful, but we want to know for sure it's helpful. Okay, instead of just like vibes-based medicine, so to speak, we want to be sure. Does that answer your question?
So no RFK. You're like not one.
I think you had a question. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yeah, so just in general, if anyone's having a seizure, we would try to put them in sort of what we call the recovery position, where you'll turn them onto their side, because sometimes they may be like biting their tongue or they're throwing up. So we want to put them on their side so they're not sort of like, I know this is going to be on YouTube, but you're not like drowning in your own vomit, so to speak, right? And so you want to put them on the side, kind of like, that makes sense. For adults and for children, you want to make sure carefully that when you turn them, they're just not drowning in their own vomit, right? That's the big thing. And plus, when you call EMS, like when you call 911, they're going to have some general guidance for you over the phone to help you with that. Great question. What other questions can I answer for you? Other than yes.
There's one. Where is this before?
It is organized through UAB. Right. So it's through the Siren Network. It's a general emergency medicine research network. So they've done like cardiac arrest studies. They've done other seizure studies, just like the life-threatening studies that tend to require this kind of information. That's the entire Siren Network, and Indiana University is a part of Siren Network. This particular project is being organized through UAB through the Siren Network. And then the general exclusion criteria, before I forget, do my best to get this. If you are pregnant, you're excluded. We don't have enough evidence to say that it's going to be beneficial in the pregnant population, so you're excluded. If you're a prisoner, you would be excluded from it, simply because there's a lot of issues regarding consent if you're a prisoner, and those can be incredibly challenging to navigate in the 2 to 5 minutes that we would need to be able to do this. If you've had like a traumatic brain injury, or we're worried that maybe it's a brain bleed that's causing this, yes, we can give you seizure medicine, but if you're having a brain bleed, the treatment is to stop the brain bleed. So that requires a different direction of care. Let's see, if you have a history of seizures, you're already on seizure medicine, and you in addition to what EMS gave you, you took something else really quick before EMS got there that may confound the study, we're not going to include you in that because we don't want to, because we won't know if what we're doing is actually helping. I also want to reassure you that I think you probably may have heard, like if you're having a seizure, I talked about, you're vomiting a lot, you might have trouble breathing, you're kind of drowning in your vomit. That's why you're in the emergency room. That's why the EMS is so incredibly trained to monitor your breathing. If you're having all of those problems, we suction you out, we do all of those things if we need to intubate you, like put a breathing tube on a ventilator to save your life. We're going to do that, right? If we're not just going to like give the medicine and wait 5 to 10 to an hour, like we're going to do our ABCs, our 1, 2, 3. We're going to do the standard of care no matter what, just to be clear. But what we are doing is, in addition to the Keppra, that levetiracetam, we might be giving ketamine on top of it too. And if there's any concern about the breathing tube or about your breathing, we're going to put a breathing tube, and that's okay. If we do the breathing tube before we give the medicine, then you're not going to be in the study because we have to give other medicine to intubate you. Anything else? Oh yeah, so if you don't mind, if you'd like to opt out, or if you like to have additional information to send to your friends who may or may not have seizures, we'd love for you to stop by. For us, for all this to count, it's helpful for us to have sort of a head count and like the names. I don't like maybe emails, I'm not sure, but the general idea here is for us to know that we've talked to enough people. And so we'd love for you to stop by afterwards. We've been kind of walking around handing things. There's a QR code there as well. If you don't mind scanning it, we'd appreciate it. I know I've taken a ton of time. I appreciate it though. Any final questions? If not, we're still going to be here. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I think it's on their papers.
I can.
I can.
Thank you. And if I may, so when you go to the QR code, we have 2 different websites, one for Riley, one for Methodist, and very in the bottom.
I don't think my,
There's the-
I think it's too blurry.
At the very bottom, there's an option if you want, but also for the question about the kid in Tennessee, even through the website, you can see all the sites in all the states and even gather more information about the study just in case. And it's all through just the QR codes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, onward. Can I get that to go away? There we go. Before we move on to neighborhood reports, we do have a few people here that are with the clean team that they're kind of getting going. So I think Doug, if you want to come up and just let people know what you guys are doing in case anybody else wants to sign up or know more information.
Sign up and get free beer tonight.
Thanks, Jen.
There we go.
Thank you. I'm going to set this down. It's going to hit the keys and it's going to go crazy. So I'll try and hold it. But I'm Doug Gully, live on Vermont Street, 1429 East Vermont. And for years, as many of you have, we've driven by and seen Pat out by the interstate cleaning up trash, and Dave and Jeff and Trini. And I finally got sick of it and thought, I need to do that too. So I was inspired by the downtown clean team and talked to these guys about the idea of coming up with a Holy Cross clean team. We do our cleaning twice a year, which is great, but there are still 10 months, lots of time throughout the rest of the year. And those gateway areas coming from the downtown area tend to get really, really bad with trash. So we talked about it and thought it'd be a really cool idea to come up with our own neighborhood clean team and really have it more organized. And the guys really loved the idea of it. And I think the downtown clean team is doing a great job, and I've been very inspired by them. I think they're doing fantastic. And I just thought, you know what, if they can make it work, we can make it work here too. So we started doing some talking and planning. We met with Pat and I met with Amanda and got some great ideas. And since I've talked to Renee about ideas about how to get this started, what we'll need, and when we can start, and you know how often. Some of those things are still in the works, of course. We're not sure, but here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to start on the day that we have our neighborhood cleanup in April and have just a contingent of folks over there at the gateways. And by the gateways, I mean Washington Street, right here at the intersection, Market, Ohio, those streets, New York. As you have driven by, you know what I'm talking about with those areas. And if we focus on those, we can keep them clean. I mean, it's the first thing people see when they come into our neighborhood, and we've got an outstanding neighborhood. And I just think it'll look great if we can keep it picked up throughout the year. Obviously, there are times during the year that we can't get out there, like when there's a big, huge snowstorm, or a night like tonight when it's washing the trash away on its own. But I think that if we set up a monthly schedule and do that, anyone who's signed up is welcome to come. I don't want anyone here tonight to feel like, oh, you've got to sign the list and you've got to be there every single time. It's not an obligation. It's just an opportunity. So there is a sign up sheet, as I mentioned, next to the beer. If you go out that way, you'll see it, and please sign up for it. Let me circle back and talk about some things that we need to purchase and some ideas that we have. So we will need to purchase, and the foundation has given us $500 for, I say us, but $500 to spend on equipment and supplies for this, which is outstanding. Jeff brought over some gloves to my house and showed me those the other day. Thick rubber gloves that'll protect our hands when we're out picking up the trash, and some pickers and buckets. And we've got some things in the works already. But we will also be having a waiver for people to sign so that they hold the neighborhood harmless if anything happens. I don't expect anybody's going to get run over by a car or anything like that. But if someone should pick up a piece of glass or something and get a scrape, something like that, there will be that waiver to sign. We may also look into cones for the street to keep the traffic away from us. And like I mentioned, the vests, but bags and buckets and so forth. It's really simple. It's probably going to be about a 2-hour cleanup session every time we get out there. And I think that'll make a huge dent in our neighborhood and beautify it. So does anyone have any questions? It's a pretty simple concept. Yeah. 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 Out by the WEMAC, out on the table. Yeah. Please put your name.
You can also send an email to info@indyholycross.org.
Yeah. Name, cell, and email. Yes, Trini. We're thinking once a month right now, but I'm open to that. What's going through my mind is a Saturday for a couple of hours. Whenever you're available. Pardon me? Yeah. 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 It's not nothing strict at all.
Lives are violent. Don't think about the clean street, you want to think about the trash you see. So what's that going ultimately?
Yeah. Yeah. And so many people have inspired, so many others to get out and do that in our neighborhood. So hope it works well. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think there's a little sign up sheet going around if anybody wants to just kind of do the attendance for the study, just to let them know how many people heard the message. That would be great. Okay, back to the slides. Yes, go away. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I want to let everybody know that our next meeting will be May 14th. That is not quite the cadence of our usual meetings. We usually meet on third Thursdays for this meeting, but that is like race week. And we had a couple of people note that like we might not get very good attendance if we hold the meeting during race week. So we moved it back a week, May 14th. That'll be our annual meeting. According to our bylaws, the second regularly scheduled meeting of every year is our annual meeting. That's when we do officer elections for the neighborhood association. And I think we might do, Renee, are we going to have any elections for the foundation at that meeting? Okay, I think we'll have a couple of spots for the foundation that we'll be electing at that meeting as well. And we will also be sharing the budget. That's what we do at our annual meeting. We let you know how much money we have for the association and what we're going to do with it. And if you're interested in throwing your name in the hot hat for any of the offices, we have a president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. And if you're interested in becoming one of the neighborhood officers, please just send me an info@indyholycross.org, and we'll make sure to get that into the presentation for when we do the elections in May. You do have to be a member of the association board in order to be eligible for one of the office positions, but luckily for you, we've got one meeting left before that meeting. So you would need to attend our April association board meeting. Next update I wanted to let you know is just our 2026 meeting schedule. I mentioned some of this in November, but I wanted to highlight that May 14th is different than the date that I shared in November. So that will be our next meeting. There's a QR code there that takes you to our calendar. So you can see all of these meetings that I'm listing here. You don't have to memorize these dates. They are in that calendar. And we are going to be having a discussion in March about the potentially merging the association and the foundation. There's nothing set in stone. This is not something that we've really had any detailed discussion on, which is why we want to have that meeting in March. But if you're interested in being part of that, you do need to be on the association board or part of the foundation. But again, anyone can join the association board. So if you want to join that, please email info@indyholycross.org, request to be added to the association board, and you can start joining us at those quarterly meetings and having those special discussions. Last update, well, maybe it's the last update, I don't remember. I wanted to talk about some of the events that we have coming up. We did go ahead and put dates on the calendar. So for all of the things that we're going to be doing, kind of just neighborhood goodwill events, everybody getting together, meeting your neighbors, we've got all of those in the calendar online. So you can go ahead and put them on your own calendar and save those dates. We do have 4 dates that we're going to be doing the Mo's, the Mingle on the Esplanade. That last one is going to coincide with sort of a special date around the National Night Out, so that we can kind of like do something around that time. But we do have 4 Mo's. We have a few cleanups going on. We have an outdoor movie that we went ahead and scheduled for September. We talked about maybe doing another one in the spring. We'll see how wet the spring is. And then chili cook-off in October and a holiday party in December. So mark your calendars, put all those dates together. I do have one more slide where I just wanted to mention that before our next meeting in May, we do have one of those Mo's. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew that that was coming up March 23rd, 6 p.m. We have switched to more of a picnic format, so it's not quite so difficult for anybody to coordinate anymore. It's really just kind of like bring your blankets, bring your chairs, bring your food. If you want to bring some food to share, we'll have a couple tables out there that we can put them on. But really, it's just an opportunity to come out, meet your neighbors, hang out, have a good time for a couple hours on the Esplanade. And last thing I wanted to mention was also before the next meeting, we will be having our spring cleanup. And I don't know if you want to say anything about that, just because we won't have another one of these meetings before then.
The spring cleanup is set. We are partnering as usual for spring with the Marion County Health Department, and they are amazing partners. They come out with picker trucks, they come out with bulldozers. I don't know what all these, maybe you guys have kids who know what all the things are, but whatever we need, they do for us. They help us clear the storm drains. They help us clear the curbs. They help us clear dump sites. So the important thing, and I will continue to send out information via social media, via Urban Times, but let us know where hotspots are so that I can let Antoine at Marion County Health Department know, and they can plan ahead, and we can focus the resources in the best place. So keep an eye on that. If you know something right now, send it to info@IndyHolyCross. Jen and I both get those emails, and I can start working on it. So no dumpster in the spring on the Esplanade, no dumpster. But if you have stuff that needs picked up, not household trash, not construction debris, but things that need scooped, leaves, limbs, that kind of thing, tires, tires. Yes, and thank you for being the tire man in the community. Let us know. Just let us know, and we get so much stuff knocked out in the spring, and it's thanks to all of you for coordinating with me so that I know where to put the resources. Question.
If we have some just green trash, bag it, is there a collection spot we can take it, or do we just leave it there and they'll come back and pick it up?
We don't have a collection spot. However, if we can centralize things, and if you can let me know, my phone number is everywhere, but but also you can just email, and we can coordinate in advance. But most of the time I get a text like, hey, Amanda, we got a pile of stuff here, and I can direct the guys from the guys and girls from Marion County Health Department to pick those up. So yeah, again, we want to stay away from personal trash. You need to deal with that on your own, but the big stuff, the dumping stuff, the things that strangers do, the things that nature does, that's what we deal with. And we're focused on clearing storm drains, clearing curbs, and making sure that we're set going into the summertime. Any other questions? Yes. No bags in the spring. Big piles, more than, I want to say 20 feet apart, and let me know where they are, because they come in with these pickers and they just, yeah. Yeah. So get in touch with me, and we'll make sure. I use personally, I use a snow shovel to push all of the curb debris. And it doesn't pile up in front of my house, but when I'm going to other places, like in front of the church, the snow shovels are great for that. And then you can make a big pile 20 feet apart, and the pickers can just take care of it. Okay, so thank you guys. Be in touch. Thank you.
And again, that'll be April 18th, 9 a.m. at Redev is where we usually meet. We have some shovels, we have some trash bags and some pickers and things.
You can also just chip in on your block anytime the week before and let me know.
Do keep an eye on the weather if you're going to do some piles in advance, and make sure those piles are downstream of the storm outlets if it's going to rain. So it doesn't all go straight into the storm outlets. Okay, moving on. We've got our foundation report from Renee.
Okay, thanks everybody. You can see the balance totals there. We have an investment account, so we have a checking account, and then we have an investment account. So we could just earn a little bit more than one might earn on no interest, basically. And then we have some restricted funds for certain projects, and that's listed below. The signal box maintenance or having them repainted in some instances, the Gateway sign project, the park sculpture maintenance, and of course the Wine and Cheese Festival, having a starter fund for that. Ways you can support the community on your everyday. If you shop at Kroger, you can connect your Kroger card to the neighborhood. There's a QR code. I have all sorts of signs and QR codes over here. You can, if you don't already have one, we have neighborhood signs. There's a QR code over there and I brought some with me. We also have merch you can buy right here. We have some things that we buy and have, but we also have things that change out. I have a long sleeve t-shirt I was going to show you guys. It is too hot for that today. But you can go on there and purchase and then it'll be shipped directly to you. And we have a dine to donate at Iozo's on Tuesday. So if you are not busy on Tuesday for lunch or dinner, reservations are recommended, especially at dinner. Otherwise, you end up just sitting with your neighbors, right, Cliff? Anyways, though, it's Tuesday and a portion comes to the neighborhood. We've done it twice, and each time we've made in the neighborhood of $650. Katie Harris is kind enough just to donate a portion of her proceeds all day. So go and we can support Katie and support the neighborhood all at the same time. You can get takeout. That's true. Project or fund request form. So you heard from the clean team, they have a project and they asked for funds. They went to this form and they filled it out. They told us what they wanted to do. We talked a little bit. And then at the next meeting for the foundation board, we voted on, because we still had some details to work out, in this case, a not to exceed for them. So if you have a project you would like to see if we could do as a neighborhood, there's a form on the neighborhood website. Just fill it out. We might have questions for you. And then we can see what we can do to get things going. Active projects. You guys have probably seen the utility pole signs. They're looking a little worse for wear. We are working on some replacements for those. We applied for a grant with AES. Unfortunately, did not get the grant. So we're looking for some alternative grants before we proceed, because we thought it would be nice not to spend all of our money on it, to see if we can get some other funds for it. We do plan on beginning the work though in 2026. There are currently around 22 signs, and we are looking actually to increase it to closer to 25 and change some of the locations to be a little more strategic, to be more like gateways, because we have the two-way conversions. So it's one thing we're working on. Signal box replacement on New York Street. We did get a grant to cover most of that. So we are actually working with the artist who owns the Lost Dog Gallery on New York Street. He's actually doing the designs for us and helping to coordinate with the Arts Council for it. So we expect that to all come together this spring. Keep an eye on the socials for more details. As you heard, we're working with the clean team to help secure branded high-vis vests, heavier gloves, etc. We worked with Katie Harris to coordinate a dine to donate, and we're looking to do several of those this year, maybe quarterly. So we're going to see how that goes. Merch, as I mentioned. So we've got our online store. We're going to have a square store soon for, if you were at the holiday party, you saw some of those tumblers that we had. We do have some of those left. So we're going to start an online store so folks can buy those. And those will be hand delivered if you buy them and you live in the neighborhood. If you live far enough away, we're not hand delivering those. We are about to start our 2025 financial review. So every year, part of our bylaws states that we have two people on the foundation board who do not have access to the bank account, who look at the ledger and all of the bank statements to make sure everything lines up. And then the association treasurer also reviews and signs off. So we are getting ready to start that. So in the pipe, art in the park beginning in May. Saturday mornings beginning May 10th, I believe. No, just starting in May from 10 to 12. There'll be more information out on the texts and the socials. Susan, if you guys know who Susan is, Susan Hoffman kind of runs that. And she's actually been working with the gentleman from the gallery to work on some of this. So it's for little kiddos to come and do art in the park. We're looking to do an Easter egg hunt in Highland Park on April 5th from 10 to 12. New this year, Susan says there'll be champagne and pastries for the grown-ups. However, she does need a couple of volunteers. She needs a little bit of help. So if you have Susan's contact information, say it again. I don't know what else you would do with it, Trini. You should drink the champagne. But truly, we could use a couple of volunteers. So if you have Susan's contact information, message her, or you can email foundation@nitttyholycross.org and we will connect you. We are looking to do an Oscar pool this year. So sort of like an NCAA bracket, kind of, sort of like we'll have a form, we'll send out a text about it. You put in your guesses ahead of time, we'll close the form. Whoever has the most correct guesses will get 4 tickets to the can. So watch the text for more information on that. And then we are looking at the Michigan Street signal boxes after we get New York Street done. We're going to be looking at those. We want to see if we can get a grant for that too. We're going to look and see. We're also working with contacting Cottage Home, since we share those boxes with them. We want to see if they have a plan for it. Or if they'd like to coordinate with us. So We're in the process of getting a hold of Cottage Home. And then foundation elections and appointments. So the reason you can join the association board anytime, but you have to wait till the annual time for the foundation is it's just our bylaws. That's just how they're written. But anybody in the neighborhood can be on the foundation. So if you're interested in joining our foundation team, just email foundation@indyholycross.org or just wave at me. We have both elected and appointed positions. I have to go look at my notes. I can't remember how many positions are up for each, but it really honestly doesn't matter, right? I mean, whether you're elected or appointed, we don't have a limit. So we have, I think, four elected positions. I think the rest are appointed. We can have as many people as want to be on the team. So if you're interested, let me know or email foundation@indyholycross.org. Any questions on activities or projects? Okay. Wine and Cheese Festival. Woo! July 25th, 2026. Please put it in your calendar if it's not already. As you may imagine, this is our absolute, by far, largest fundraiser for our neighborhood. By far. If you're not already, please follow us on our socials. Spread the word, and then come in July and enjoy this. You know, what can we do as neighbors? We can get the word out. We can come. We can bring our friends. We can sponsor, or we can connect to sponsors. So maybe you know a small business and it would be a good relationship. If you could help us connect with sponsors or auction donors, or signing up to volunteer. And some of the folks who volunteered said they had a really good time because they had a friend sign up and do the shift with them. So they basically hung out with their friend and did people directing or answered questions or whatever with a friend for a couple of hours, and then got tickets for free drinks and a free shirt and a gift card, and got to enjoy the festival too. So those are some things we can do as neighbors with the festival. Our two biggest needs: we need financial support. It costs about $35,000 to put on the festival. That is what it costs to do it. So we have to have obviously at least that much to break even. And obviously it's a fundraiser, so we want more than that. And at 2-hour shifts, we need 100 volunteer slots. So just an idea of the sheer volume of people it requires to put it on. As such, we're looking for volunteers outside of our neighborhood. So if you know a coach or a sports team that may be looking for hours, or high school or church, we need service hours, will you please just let us know? Because the more folks we can get involved, it helps them get service hours, and it helps take the burden off of us and our neighbors so we can enjoy more of the festival. So updates are coming to the website. We have a festival site on, or a festival page on the website. Sponsorship information will be there shortly. Cheese Wars, Tommy emailed me, and we are definitely a golden ticket to the World Food Championships again for 2026. So more to come on that. I met with Jan this week, and she's already working on ideas for the SOM experience. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm very excited. And we should have the vendor signups out pretty soon. I know some folks here know some of the vendors, or have vendors they know that maybe would be interested in it. So that will be up here probably in the next week or so for that. That's it for the festival. Any questions about the Wine and Cheese Festival? We have a committee. If you're interested in hanging out with us, and let's talk after the meeting. We have a committee, and we have it broken into kind of subcommittees, so people have like specific interests or strengths, and we kind of are dividing and conquering a little bit this year on some things. So we can absolutely talk afterwards, and we can see where you might be interested in working with us. Anything else? Please.
Right. They're telling them it's like online.
Yeah, that's a good point. We are going to have an elevator pitch that we can get to you. Basically, we want to talk about how we want to look at our mission and vision as a neighborhood, and making a neighborhood that is a more inclusive and welcoming space and a safe space. So that's some of the things we're going to have. We are going to have talking points. I should also mention we prefer these students to be at least 15 years old. They don't have to be, I guess, but ideally maybe 15. But we will have some talking points available, and we can put that information out for folks who want to be able to, want to be able to use it. That's a great, thank you, Emmy. That's a great point. Any other questions? Thanks, guys.
Okay, so we're going to end with kind of our usual slides. Girls' Night Out still going on, still rolling along and getting people out. So if you are interested, Gwen is not here tonight. She's usually here, but you can email info@indyholycross.org and we'll get you connected up with the girls' night out. It's a, if you're not familiar with it, it's a, like ladies in the neighborhood can sign up to be a part of the group, and then somebody volunteers to be the host, and then everybody else can come and bring a snack or some wine and hang out for a couple of hours and just kind of socialize. Ways to stay connected. We do have our calendar, as I mentioned before, same QR code. The email or the URL is indyholycross.org/join-in. So that's the website of where the calendar is at. And there's more information on there about meetings, neighborhood meetings and things like that. But if you've got something coming up, like I just noted that I needed to get the Easter egg hunt added to the calendar. So anything else going on that's that kind of a thing, let me know. I can put that on the calendar. We do have a bunch of ways to stay connected. We have the Urban Times. Amanda writes our articles. So if you've got any ideas for something that she can send to the Urban Times, please let her know. They usually need about a month and a half lead in for publishing. So it can't kind of be like, oh, we're doing a thing next week, but after the fact is great to have for articles. So she puts a lot of things in. She put our holiday party in. It was great. We have social media. Email. One thing that I didn't add to the slide that I just realized as I got to the meeting was that we do have a texting service now as well. It's over on the board, Renee says. So if you're interested in signing up to get texts about upcoming events, we got a text, I think 2 days ago saying, hey, heads up, there's a meeting this week, to kind of remind people. Hopefully some of you got that text, but we'll be using that to kind of remind people when things are coming up or let them know about important information. Support the neighborhood. Yes. Oh, so there's a group, they call themselves the Taste Buds, and they are kind of going around and trying different restaurants. So if you're interested in kind of joining that, go talk to Trini. Nice.
Outside the neighborhood for some greasy burgers.
Yeah.
We don't know who will come back.
Yeah, it's cash only. Lunchtime. Oh, okay. Yeah. So for anybody that's watching this online later, first Friday of the month, they're trying out Working Man's Friend this time, and bring cash because it's cash only lunchtime. So supporting the neighborhood, we put this up every time. If you want to help support the neighborhood association, that's different than the foundation. We use that money for like maintaining the website, having the Zoom account that I'm using right now to record the meeting so we can put it on YouTube later. That's $20 per household per year. That number has been pretty steady for quite a while. So it's kind of a bargain at this point. And you can use the QR code to do it online. You can go to indyholycross.org/support and you can do that. And then again, just upcoming meeting dates. So the next association board meeting, if you'd like to join us for that, will be on April 14th. We do those on Zoom, so it's super convenient for everybody. Send an email if you want to be added to that distribution list so that you can get that information. Association member meetings, that's the meeting we're having tonight. The next one's going to be on May 14th. And the foundation meeting, the next one's going to be on March 25th. Those are in person. So they'll be meeting soon on that. And then this is kind of my final slide. It's just my thank you slide. So once again, QR code for merch, QR code for calendar, QR code for dues if you didn't catch them when they went up the first time. Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. Oh, I do want to mention, because it did come up, we had someone request information about Airbnbs. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. So I'm not sure what kind of issues are going on, but I do know that if you are having trouble with an Airbnb, for sure, call IMPD, call 911, let them know that there's something going on in the current moment that is happening, that is disruptive, that needs to be taken care of, and they will respond to that. They do keep records of all of those calls that they get as well, so that they can track that information. If it's something else, there is a group that kind of has some information about short-term rentals that you can. Do you want to come up here and talk about it?
No, if you want to grab the.
Okay, yeah, if you want that information, Amanda has that information. So there is a group where they're trying to just like share information about short-term rentals and things that you can do to be a good short-term rental landlord, things like that. Under our current state laws and city laws, it's there's not a whole lot we can do about Airbnbs. They kind of just exist. But there is always, like I said, if it's disruptive and happening in the moment, please call 911 and let them know that something is happening. But again, thank you for coming to the meeting. We really appreciate that.
The new homes in our area, a lot of them are double, and the two on state are quads. And they're taking away parking from us on the corners and also bike lanes. And just between me and the two houses next to me, we got 10 cars. That's because people are, their kids are growing up and buying new cars, and their kids and stuff. And parking's getting very tight in our neighborhood. But we need to look into that.
You volunteering?
Yeah.
No parking in your corner. I think it really helps visibility, and I feel much safer walking my dog around. So, I mean, I know it's cut out parking spot, but wow, it'll be better.
Yeah. So for anybody online, we had a comment about more people in the neighborhood is resulting in less parking on the street. And then we had somebody else mention that the no parking here to corner, they actually call that daylighting. It's like opening up the intersection so you can see people walking and see people crossing in their cars. Somebody said they appreciate that. So
You've actually had people taking signs down on the no parking.
oh, like residents or
Yeah, in different apartments so they can park on the wrong side. And
I think you could probably report that to the MAC.
I have.
Yeah.
You can call Stacy too. She helped us with some people.
Okay, just one other thing I would say about parking is that we all have to remember that probably 90% of us have access to an alley, have access, whether you have a garage or whether you have a parking pad or not. 90% of us at least have access to an alley and access to park on our own property and not have to use the street. And I understand that convenience is important, but it's also very important for us to think about being a people-centered community and not a car-centered community. So I would encourage folks to think of alternate ways to take care of their cars and to remember that folks who are walking, folks who are biking are really the center of this neighborhood to me, and the reason why I moved here. So I just encourage people to think more about people and maybe less about cars. Soapbox done.
Did you have a? Oh, okay. Yeah. So, okay. Thank you again, everybody, for coming. Very much appreciate it. Let me know if you want to be on the association board, etc.
Thank you.
Most of the foundation are going to Westminster Food Fight on Friday. We have 2 seats left. If anyone's helping out with food the